Good morning. Good morning and welcome to the Shawnee Mission Unitarian Universalist Church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your life's journey, you are welcome here. We're so happy you've chosen this Sabbath, this YouTube channel, this sanctuary in time. We know you have a lot of options on Sunday morning, and that you chose to be here is something we celebrate. We extend an especially warm welcome to our visitors and anyone who may be watching our service online for the first time. If you're watching online for the first time, please complete the Get in Touch form in the description area of the YouTube video. And if you're here and would like more information about this church or Unitarian Universalism, just check in at the welcome desk in the foyer. We now invite everyone to greet each other in any way you possibly can. Elbows if you're here, and if you're joining us online, please say hi in the chat. Thank you. It is good to be together. This morning I have an announcement about our upcoming auction. Remember that donations will be taken for the auction until Wednesday. So if you haven't donated yet, or if you're thinking about donating something, please get it in before Wednesday. So far, we've got donations valued at about $8,200 for our online and live auctions. Donate through this Wednesday. Online bidding for the silent auction and the poster party items is from noon Saturday, the 3rd of December, until noon Saturday, the 10th of December. We'll be getting out instructions on how to do the online bidding. The live auction is Saturday, December 10th. It'll be right here in the sanctuary. Check in the foyer at 6:30. Bidding starts at 7. If you're coming, please bring some food or drink to share and something for the food pantry. That's your price of admission. And to volunteer to help, please see Jen Nelson or me. And now Reverend Rose has a couple more announcements.
Good morning. As you may know, we currently have a food drive going on for our bountiful food pantry. We do this because feeding people is one of the most direct ways that you can offer not just support and comfort to people, but as we just saw on Thanksgiving, feeding people and connecting over food is one of the most powerful forms of human love. This last week, we were fortunate enough to receive 200 turkeys, and we were able to support that many families in the creation of a shared space around the table. We feel very fortunate to have received those turkeys. Also, our shelter opens up this week on December 1st. As you may know, this is the only shelter for single adults and men in the entirety of Johnson County. This is also how we live out our faith, providing the two most basic needs for human survival, food and shelter. And of course, the shelter also provides a powerful community of friendship and love and support that is sorely needed for those who are experiencing homelessness. We are aiming to have a service in honor of the shelter on December 11th, inviting all the volunteers and guests of the shelter and all the people who worked so hard to forge this space in our building, including city officials, the Good Faith Network, all the people in the entire community who came together to get this shelter lifted into existence. It was not an easy lift, but because of so many people across the entire metro area, we were able to open the hearts of many and open our doors to human beings who, just like you and me, need a safe place to rest your weary head at night. Our opening words come from Reverend Gretchen Haley. Do not fail to be surprised by the catching of your breath, the quickening of your heart, the fullness of your eyes wide and suddenly awake with awe. Here is a place with wonder, that still there might be something new born today, that we might be born anew today. Do not fail to notice the changing, the life full and abundant already beginning. By our coming together, made possible by the promises we make to give and receive, to become. We give thanks to be on this journey. Come, let us worship together. Please rise as you are willing and able for our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
As Kelly Van Meter, our new music director, comes forward to light our chalice, we invite you to join us as we recite our covenant. Let us affirm that love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with one another. Each month, we as a community take time to reflect on a theme. The children do this in their classes, and we do it here in worship and in our small groups. This month, the theme is change. Change comes. That is one thing I know. Whether or not we want it to, change comes. Whether or not we're ready for it, change comes. Change comes to everyone. It came to me last week when my father passed away. Dad's health had been declining for several months, and he had been under hospice care for 2 to 3 weeks before he died. So we could see this change coming. Still, you're never as prepared as you think you are. Family relationships can be complicated. Family relationships can be messy. The relationship between me and my father was both complicated and somewhat messy. But it was ours. It was the language we spoke. It was the way we both grew through the life changes that came our way. It was the map of our life together, and we navigated it each in our own way, sticking to the well-worn paths, avoiding construction zones and washed-out bridges, eventually finding our way to a place we could both call family, a place we could both call home. Our map wasn't perfect. Sometimes we didn't use it perfectly, but it was ours. It was a known in a world filled with so many unknowns. But then, with one phone call from my sister, everything changed. When the call ended, I felt sadness, I felt loss, but right up there with the sadness and the loss was the thought, this changes everything. Now, a key player in our family dramas and comedies has left the stage, and we must rewrite future episodes without a role for him. Now, I am at the top of the food chain in our family hierarchy. Now, my own mortality comes into a clearer focus, and I no longer think of myself as middle-aged. I don't know anyone who lives to be 136, do you? Now, there is no more trying to say what needs to be said, unsaying things that have been said, not saying what should be said. Everything is different now. And the map Dad and I used to navigate our relationship has lost its purpose. I think I'll keep it, though, as a reminder that two different people can navigate life and arrive at a common destination despite the many changes that come and go. Change will continue to come, that is certain, and it may be helpful to have a template to help me chart my way through it.
Could I please have all the children come forward? Hi, kiddos. It's nice to see you all. Oh, what's that? Oh, wow. Deacon, let me help you. Let me help you. Wow, we have this bag of fruit here. Do you all remember how we were doing the pantry drive and we were coloring all the bags? Well, we're still doing that. You don't remember, or you were tossing your locks? I see. Well, we have a pantry here at church. Have you guys been down there? You have seen the pantry? Well, if you ever come on a Tuesday, it's a very, very beautiful experience. There are hundreds of people who come to us to get food, and it didn't used to be that way. It used to be that if somebody came to me to get food, I would go personally with them to the grocery store and figure out, get them food and then get reimbursed and do this whole rigmarole. But now we can just say we have a food pantry where hundreds of people come, and oftentimes little kids come. And sometimes little babies come and they sit in the carts and go through the store. Sometimes there are older kids like you too. And it's just a really beautiful experience, and anyone can volunteer. It's very nice. We're so proud of our food pantry because we think that part of being a Unitarian Universalist is living our values and giving. We think that we have this incredible bounty of space and people and food and resources, and that part of being a Unitarian Universalist is that we give it away. So, right now, Christmas is coming, and I wonder if anybody here has started to think about what they want. Yeah? Does anybody here have a little list that they're going to ask Santa? Yeah. I see a lot of you out there making your Santa list. You have a very big list? Yeah. I mean, yeah. This is a time where we start thinking about what do I want and what would I like to be given. But I wanted to give us a chance to start thinking also about what we want to give. This week, the DRE, Jen Lacey, was telling me that she told her son, I think it's time that you come up with a present for me and your dad. And she said, he looked at her like, why? You? So, as kids especially, anytime that anybody gives, think about how good it feels to receive. And so anytime that you have that warm feeling, you can think, who would I want to give a gift to? And here's the thing about gifts. Do they have to be big? No. They can be tiny. They could be as small as a word. Just giving somebody a gift that is not fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just says that I love you means a lot. And especially it would mean a lot to your parents. So I have this bag of fruit here, and I'm going to invite you guys to come up here and look in the bag of fruit, and you're going to choose one or two that you think your parents or anyone in this room might like, okay? And then you're going to reach in there and grab one. Go ahead. One or two. Okay. And I'm going to invite you, as you hold it, to think of something you could say to your parent when you give it to them. It might just be, I love you. It might be, you look nice today. It might be, you give really good gifts. Alrighty, do you have what you're going to say? Okay, you may go and give them the gift. And I'm going to put this fruit up here. Anyone is welcome to come. Anyone's welcome to grab a piece of fruit. Think about who you could give this to, that it wouldn't be weird. And you're welcome to take these, or just think of them as a gift from us to you, and we'll put them out there on the fellowship table, and you can have a snack. All right, let us sing our children out.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the spirit of love surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
This is the time in our service that we set aside to draw into our heart and mind those in our midst who are suffering and those who feel the sweet relief of their burdens easing. I invite you to put your feet flat on the floor, close your eyes. Throughout this period we have of 2 meditations in the middle of the service, I'm going to invite you to do a little bit of digestive support and just breathe into your belly. Today we draw to heart and mind the victims of the shootings that occurred last week at Club Q in Colorado Springs and in a Walmart near DC the day before Thanksgiving. We uplift those who emerge as heroes and heroines in these unthinkable situations. And we remain in ongoing vigil in hopes that our issues with gun violence will result in sensible laws that will protect the vulnerable amongst us. As we recently passed Trans Day of Remembrance, we lift up all the beautiful, creative, brave, and powerful trans people who walk this earth in a different level of vulnerability. May we as a community be a source of love and care for all. We also think of those who did not have a big, bountiful feast this week, those for whom family or lack thereof pricks a little on the heart, reminding of difficulty or loss. Together we form a circle of restoration that invites into our doors and hearts the weary, the thoughtful, the shaken, and the inspired. I invite you to draw into your own mind and heart someone who you know who is suffering. Imagining their face, sending them a well wish, a thought, a prayer. And then turn your love towards yourself. Giving yourself a well wish, an intention maybe. Saying that you're grateful to yourself for something. As always, we rejoice over the exquisite beauty in this world, as small or life-changing as each piece of beauty may be. You may open your eyes. I now invite you to come forward and briefly share in 2 to 3 sentences a rare joy or profound sorrow and light a candle.
Hi, my name's Twyla Preston, and this is both sorrow and a joy. In early October, after living with a cat for like 17 years and trying valiantly to save his life, I had to euthanize my baby Willie. And very, very sad. And then yesterday, I adopted Otis. And Otis is 8 months old and full of vinegar.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Sagan. This is a candle of gratitude for the Pastoral Care Committee and specifically Jim Christ, Vicki Sovereign, Danny Hewitt, and Pat Duggan for helping me get to some appointments. Been having some back trouble the last few weeks, and it was just really helpful to have somebody drive me around when I didn't feel like it was safe for me to drive. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Moth. I am about 3 weeks away from finishing my first semester of college, and that's a joy. And then my sorrow with that is that I only have 3 weeks to finish my first semester of college. But another joy is that I'm back here home today after being in California for 4 months. So it's great to be back.
Hi, my name's Richard Peace. I'm going to write 3 candles. The first is for my son, Jeff, who is going to have a cancerous thyroid removed next week. The second is for Heidi, who wishes she could be here lighting these candles, but she's at home preparing my 81st birthday party. And the third is my chemotherapy starts next week.
Hi, I'm Cindy White, and I've been volunteering at the shelter for about 3 years, but before that, I came to SMUUCh because of the support that you all offered to the shelter to open your doors, and for that, I am so grateful.
And I'm going to light a candle of joy for my wife, Amanda, and son, Arjun, who both are celebrating birthdays next week.
I light the 2 remaining candles for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken in the silent sanctuaries of our hearts. I invite you again into your belly breathing. We can use all the help we can get digesting. This is a gratitude meditation for the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. We give thanks this day. For this fragile planet Earth, its times and its tides, its sunsets and its seasons, we give thanks this day. For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and its achievements, we give thanks this day. For our human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all our separations, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression. We give thanks this day. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared, we give thanks this day. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom, we give thanks this day. For human liberty and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose, we give thanks this day. We pray that we may not live by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. And now please remain seated as we sing our meditative hymn, From You I Receive.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Our reading today is an original text called the Thanksgiving Prayer. It is an ancient Christian prayer discovered in the Nag Hammadi papers after being buried underground in northern Egypt for 1,600 years. The Nag Hammadi are the meticulous writings of some unknown author painstakingly scribed onto papyrus, ink scratched into the pithy stems of a water plant, and then rolled into tight stalks and wrapped in leather, bound and placed deep within a clay jug in the dry earth to lay undisturbed. They give us a window into ancient interpretations of the divine that lend us a glimpse into belief systems that may be more liberated and honorific than what has been handed down to us from the pulpits or from our society. This is the Thanksgiving prayer. We give thanks to you. Every life and heart stretches toward you, O name untroubled. To everyone and everything comes the kindness of love and desire. And if there is a sweet and simple teaching, it gives us mind, word, and knowledge. Mind that we may understand, word that we may interpret, knowledge that we may know. We rejoice and are enlightened by knowledge. We rejoice that you have taught us. We rejoice that we have been made divine through knowledge. The thanksgiving of the human who reaches you is this alone, that we know you. We have known you, O light of mind, O light of life. We have known you, O womb of all that grows. We have known you. Womb of every creature, we have known you. O never-ending endurance of the Father who gives birth, so we worship your goodness. One wish we ask. We wish to be protected in our knowledge. One protection we desire, that we not stumble in this life. When they said these things in prayer, they welcomed one another, and they went to eat their holy food.
Our second reading comes from an anonymous author and is a take on the Lord's Prayer. Disturb us when we are too pleased with ourselves, when our dreams have come true because we dreamed too little, when we arrived safely because we sailed too close to the shore. Disturb us when, with the abundance of things we possess, we have lost our thirst for the waters of life. When, having fallen in love with life, we have ceased to dream of eternity, and in our efforts to build a new earth, we have allowed our vision of heaven on earth to dim.
Do you ever just feel stuck? And like the world is too, stagnant in disappointing ways, a universe holding on to the vestiges of what never really worked in the first place? I certainly do, and from my vantage point, I hear many of you say that you currently feel caught in fear and anxiety, like you are just waiting, willing the world to become. This is why I chose the Thanksgiving prayer, an ancient text, to offer you today, because it encourages us to see the world for what it is, an ever-changing, ever-morphing, shape-shifting wonder, and to see ourselves as agents in it. O womb of all that grows, says the Thanksgiving prayer, offering gratitude for the womb of every creature. This is a generative, juicy expression of what is sacred that roots us directly to the idea that the earth, people, you and I, we all grow, and that therein lies our divinity. That little nerve we all have to blossom and nurture ourselves and the world in growth is us giving thanks to the fruitful, ever-shifting nature of the universe. As moment after moment comes and passes, as time and space and creatures roll on in a cacophony of ever-shifting, ever-growingness, in the miracle of life, life itself rounds out in its complex, glorious truths, each moment being pregnant with possibilities and redemption, and our only job to honor it. Indeed, this prayer tells us that simply being open to the unfolding theater of life is a perfectly beautiful and, in fact, liberative way to experience the divine. And that this source of life does indeed come in the physical body of all creatures, even, as this ancient text puts it, the womb of the Father. Indeed, this text is deep. It is unique in that it also offers us this melding and decoupling of gender and the divine. Not only does it locate the divine in the womb of all creatures, but it invites us into a liberation from the language that has been unrealistic and damaging, teaching us that gender is connected specifically to the divine. The womb of the Father, it says. What a joyous and raucous affirmation that the complexities of life and growth, gender and sexuality, what a beautiful way to allow creativity in movement in a place where our society is currently so stuck. So stuck, in fact, that there is fear and hatred of those who are gay, trans, or intersex. There is so much shame for men, so many pleasing traps for women, a whole host of bizarre and very rigid rules around gender and sex that have been codified, cemented for some bizarre reason in religion as holy. People have had to claw their way into the religious discourse, fighting all across the Protestant and Christian worlds that God should be uncoupled not only from maleness, but also from static. Pushing for gender and neutral languages and hymns and scripture, still to this day, advocating for the ordination of women or gay or trans folks, and of course, the backlash against many people who pushed for change has been nasty. One Catholic nun named Corita Kent created a piece of artwork that got her in big trouble with the cardinal. This was during the Andy Warhol tomato soup can craze, and she went ahead and made a piece of artwork which uplifted the bounties of the earth and included the caption, "Mary is the juiciest tomato of them all." Uh-oh. That touched a nerve, that disturbed some people, but maybe she was just ahead of her time. You've heard this saying, they were just ahead of their time, meaning that someone was pushing out of the confines of a particular society, growing towards liberation so fervently that society wasn't ready. Usually in that saying, there's an element of punishment or backlash. When we say someone was ahead of their time, it meant that they suffered. And it isn't just about gender, this pushing in society. It's about how our society has come to worship at an altar of stuckness. How much fear and anxiety swirls around us as a whole, how few resources we really have to live a spiritual life in this particular moment, in this particular world. I wonder if part of this anxiety and angst that we feel as a collective has roots in this long, violent history of backlash that came from the church anytime someone tried to change the canon. It reinforces that being stuck is sacred and that growth is dangerous. But when we prize comfort over growth, this is when we have become too pleased with ourselves and we cease to dream of eternity. And so I wonder if you see vestiges of stuck spirituality in yourself or in those you love. In fact, I wonder if you yourself have ever felt the pinch of distaste for change. When have you been asked to learn about something that would dramatically disrupt your peace or your achievement in society? When, with the abundance of things that you possess, you have lost your thirst for the waters of life? I know I've had to be very intentional about growth because I too have avoided disturbance. On my own journey to understand and grow in my liberation from white supremacy, I have been faced with walls that I did not want to cross. But something sacred and longing inside me knew that I needed and actually wanted to grow. Or in my queerness, when I got that itch that something just wasn't right, even though I knew that it would take all my strength and chutzpah to break free from the walls that had been built around me, something just grew inside of me, telling me I was brave enough and strong enough and that I would be so much happier if I were to grow, and now I'm up here preaching that we can all grow a little more, even when change is hard. Because when we do grow, we are honoring the nature of the universe, and we become stronger. Like when we moved the shelter into this building. And in our pushing, this congregation moved the needle on homelessness for the entire metro area. That was not easy. It was a steep learning curve and painful in many ways. But it made huge waves in a society that for some weird reason was digging its heels in, refusing to open a shelter in Johnson County. Yes, this Thanksgiving prayer reminds us that growth and change is sacred, that it is the law of the universe. Just look at science, which is a self-correcting, ever-evolving thing that must grow and is in fact celebrated in its discoveries and changes. This is why Unitarian Universalism is a non-creedal religion, why we call ourselves a living tradition, echoing these ancient texts that invite us into something generative and beautiful, something that aligns more with the laws of nature, something that sends us to our knees in a posture of giving thanks that things can, in fact, will change, because this is the nature of life itself, and therefore the divine. We do this in gratefulness of a much juicier, realer, actually liberative belief system that honors that which is new, growing, or changing. To place ourselves, human life forms, in a humble place of needing to grow. To lift up and thank our fruit-bearing teachers, those who gestate, the seeds, the womb of every creature, those who do the wild and frantic labor of pushing new thoughts and generative, juicy ideas and testing boundaries, for blessed are they who disturb the waters. They are not before their time, but tapping into ancient knowledge of a deep thankfulness for the womb of all creatures. Because thankfulness and gratitude are a balm for all that fear and anxiety. They shift our focus from scarcity to abundance and include us in the growth. As my professor Hal Tausig says, the Thanksgiving prayer highlights an interactive dynamic of divine growth with human response of thankfulness. Although growth is inherently divine, when humanity understands and receives growth with thanksgiving, human growth multiplies. After a fashion, then, divine growth is augmented through human thanksgiving. It is through our gratitude of growth, not our reluctant fear of growth, that we become agents of the divine, our hands becoming instruments of justice and love in this world. It is in our noticing of all that is good and beautiful and right, all that flourishes and changes and grows, that we become a friend to life. And so I have to wonder, have you in your current mind and heart ceased to dream of a heaven on earth? Where has your spirit given in or given out? What is resting, dormant, that is longing to take a leap? What changes are you afraid of making, but that you know you need to make? How do you need to grow? Or how are the people who love you asking you to grow? What if you were the juiciest tomato of all? ripening and bursting with color and life? What if your changes, your newness, and your shifting could bring out a deep thankfulness in you, crack you open and bring you into a new vision of beauty and abundance, fecundity, and life? What could you be open to that is a shift? I want that for you. Because when you do tap into that willingness for life to be a changing entity, you will find a deeper liberation. When you no longer allow your discomfort or fear to dictate your actions, you will find yourself so thankful that you get to live in a world so ever evolving and for your own sacred ability to grow. And wouldn't it be nice to grow? Wouldn't it be so lovely to break free of these chains that bind us? Wouldn't it be so freeing and beautiful to not be so afraid? Wouldn't it be lovely to tap into these moments that just keep coming and going as time and space and creatures roll on in a cacophony of ever-shifting, ever-growingness and the miracle of life? To honor that your life rounds itself out in a complex, glorious truth, each moment pregnant with possibilities and redemption. And your only job to honor it. That you and I and the world could evolve and grow and shift. That our lives could blossom into something we never could have imagined. Oh, womb of all that grows, we have known you. Oh, light of life, we have known you. Oh, name untroubled, we give thanks to you. Blessed be, and amen.
The work of the church depends on us, our generosity of time, wisdom, and financial resources. We invite you to give generously to support the ongoing work of the church. The offering will now be given and received in grateful appreciation of our shared values. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Stand with me as you are comfortable and able, and we will sing the Spirit of Life, hymn number 123 together with Ben and I. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
This week, I invite you to witness your own growth, noticing and being thankful for the ways you have grown, the ways you are currently changing, and to give yourself a little head start on the ways you want to grow. Go in peace.